Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I have another double junk journal here that I just finished, and I loved this little antique book here from the early 1900s called The Tempest, which is a play by William Shakespeare. And it was too small to be a full junk journal, so I made two junk journals on top of each other. And this is a design I came up with a few years ago that's been quite popular with my clients, and I hope you love it as much as I love making it. So this will be in my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com, in a few minutes. And I added some fabric down here to match the cover. I put some vintage fabric around the edging behind the first journal, and this is a vintage book here from the 50s, Poems Worth Knowing. So let me take you on a little tour of this. And remember, everything from the books to the pages to the ephemera, everything in here is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera. I don't use any commercial products whatsoever. I left the original inscription page on there, and even the clusters are all made with antique paper and fabrics and stamps and all kinds of things. There's the original first plate, William Shakespeare there. The original first page is here. That's just from a vintage bird book. And here is the original first page of that book. This little pocket here is made from a vintage children's book. And this is a 1940s Arborite sample. And it's a rare double-sided one. And that's from the Arborite Company. And it's got this beautiful pink holiday and the yellow holiday. Isn't that, remember these tabletops and countertops? Oh my gosh, they were fantastic. I mean, I wasn't born in the 40s, but I've seen lots of the tables, and I think my grandmother had one. That's from the 1960s, a card from a card game, and 1930s Monopoly money, just for fun. You can use it to collage or make things with. That's a 1925 How to Make Things book. 1940s children's book page, and this is just a lovely little antique book page. On one side it's clocks, and on the other side it's soldiers through the ages, 1905 down to the 1800s. Here is a photograph from 1925, Laura, Milton, and Ethel. I love those old names. Some vintage paper here. This is a 1920s banknote, 1924. Gateway to Bookland from the 20s, and this is from a book of history, it's the France page, and that is Napoleon Bonaparte, and that is from the 1850s. Isn't that beautiful? That is fantastic. Another wonderful little cluster here, some more pages for journaling on, children's book pages, and that is the first journal of the double journal. Then we go into the main part here, and I've got this gorgeous pineapple pattern crochet here, and that is the spine of the original book here that I was able to salvage. First pages of the book, 1958, How to Make and Do. A 1950s original bingo card, not a reproduction. And just some extra journaling space down here. And this is a 1950 Theatre World magazine page, and that's Katharine Hepburn there. Isn't that cool? When she was on Broadway. This is from 1937. It's a student's project on plants, and you can journal on there as well and also do more fun things with that. This is an article from the early 1900s for watches, 25 cents for a watch. Pretty cool, eh? I added some antique paper on the back to journal on. Fun cluster, that's the inside of a book, as well as that piece. It's even got the embossing from the spine on it. I've got this 1953 Bond Bread Baker's receipt here, and this is a vintage plate from an art book, and that is a either Renoir or Pissarro. It might be Pissarro. I think it's Pissarro. And this is, I just thought this because it's the old I own a mixer, and I added antique paper on both sides, or on that side there, and the cream of rice. Is that cool? I just love those old advertisements. That one's from the 40s, I believe. Could even be from the 20s. I'll find it. Okay, here is a vintage bird book page. That's the robin, and I forget which one that is. Sterling. 1905. American Garden magazine, sorry. And then this is a little page from another vintage book here. I just thought it was really pretty and interesting with pretty image. And then this is just a flip up here for more journaling space. More beautiful clusters and ribbon. And this is from a 1950s embroidery book. 1930s children's book. This is a great postcard. It looks brand new because it's on glossy, but it's actually quite old. About the 1930s. Look at the cars. Aren't they amazing? Love it. I love all the details. You really, when you get one of my journals, really look at everything. It takes you about 6 or 7 times to go through the book to really start to see all the different little things and read everything. This is just a really fun ad from a 1950s teen magazine. Grab 5 bras for $5.95. And then remember these. That is hilarious. So just a fun piece. Just a fun nostalgic piece in there from the 50s. I left this page alone because it has the lovely little poem down here. This is some vintage lace, antique paper for journaling. And this is from 1902, Leaders of Men, and that is Julius Caesar and his wife, Calpurnia. And that is another antique book spine there. And I made this little booklet here out of all antique and vintage papers that I had left over. So I thought they'd make a fun little extra journaling booklet. This is a handwritten piece from the early 1900s. It was a research piece, and somebody was looking up articles from 1880, which I think you can see the old quilled pen writing there with inkwell. Another 1920s book page there. I like the old Scotch tape. I keep, whenever I see something with old Scotch tape on it, I keep it. I think it's really fun. More embroidery books, and at the back here, the happy finale for the last page and a little journaling tag there as well. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making of it. Don't forget to subscribe and visit soon. Bye for now.